And boop.
I just gotta make sure that everything else is turned off. Oh.
I should also double check that my computer's not trying to back up pictures. There we go.
Apparently
All
the
right.
thumbnail didn't want to go through. But it's fine, I'm live, I don't care.
Oh well. Anyways, everybody, welcome one and all in one, to episode 3.
None and all.
Of the none and all.
Yeah.
The one person watching. Hi, mom. No.
Hi, Chris, it's Mom. Long time no see.
Episode 3 of the Crustiest podcast, also the saltiest podcast. We're going to talk about video games or something like that today.
Stuff.
On April Fool's Day.
Yeah. Why?
We are the April Fools.
How we got Maj in here?
Oh, imagine.
Again, I'll preface like we do every week. Go ahead, leave comments, interject your thoughts, your bits and pieces, but don't expect us to have the same banter we normally do when we do our we do our live streams and stuff, because we're doing a podcast. We're having a conversation amongst ourselves. We will happily interject your bits and pieces, but we will not reply directly.
Yeah, for the most part, we try not to pay too much attention. Well, not try not. I pay attention to it. I just don't respond to everything.
Yeah.
Because, conversation.
They're
My bit
watching
rates are going
at
everywhere
5
today.
a.m. apparently, so we are a hit.
Ooh.
Whereabouts would that be? That would have to be Greenwich Mean Time.
5 a.m.
GMT, right? 7 hours for me.
No, GMT is 5 ahead.
5, so that's...
So right now for them, that would be 3 in the morning. So 5 would be 2 hours forward, so it'd probably like Germany or France.
Possibly. Welcome.
I know Germany's 9 hours ahead of Pacific time, whatever that is. So they would be like
3 hours.
I don't know. They'd be
As
I
I'm
think 6
vaping.
hours.
Oh,
I don't know.
dude. How has your week been before we start talking about the crap?
Oh man, I have been so very busy this week.
I kind of gather that. I am paying attention. I'm just trying to get everything organized for when I do things and go live with other bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's been hectic. It's been a good week for the channel, for some strange reason. But I've been busy. Haven't been doing a lot on here. Trying to slog my way through LA Noire.
I've been kind of busy, but not really. I mean, I've been.
It's the best kind.
I took a day off this week, which is
I heard.
unnatural for me. Yeah, I took like an entire day. But the thing was, it was a day off from putting things on the channel and making them go live. I still did 10 videos that day.
Yeah, it's a grind. I've been doing pretty good with the regular. I think this week I think every day this week I've done a stream. I haven't missed a day yet, but it's still been one of the busiest days outside of that. Every single day I've been busy.
Yeah. So let's just kind of, I'm going to preface some, I know we're getting a lot of people are asking like what the hell the topics are going to be. Gaming, technology.
Gaming and technology.
And salt and crust.
General things. Mostly gaming and technology. We tend to expose sometimes into other things.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of, this is the one and only time that I actually consider myself to be a bit of a narcissist. Where I kind of, this is my soapbox, hear me roar.
We just kind of sit here and talk about ourselves for 2 hours straight is basically what we do.
Yeah.
And that's how every podcast is, though.
Yeah, it is, entirely. No, I want to talk a bit about the state of YouTube. There's a bunch of things that have been going on.
Yeah.
And I think that my point on this is going to be a little bit different than some other people's, and I think you're going to be slightly surprised with what I have to say about it.
Are we going to go ahead and jump right into that, or are we going to dance around?
I want to start off with gaming. There's something that's been kind of irking me, and I wanted to address it. And they announced a brand new game this week. I'm sure you know it's coming out in September. You know which one?
Oh, Destiny 2.
Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. Are you excited?
I played a bit of the original Destiny, and I liked the idea of it. I know not a lot of people liked it, but I think I didn't play super in depth, but the people that I know who did enjoyed it, and I look forward to being on PC so I can get a better chance to play it.
Yeah, first time it's going to be available on PC.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up and play it on channel. I'm not super hyped about it because I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the original game, but it looks cool. The Destiny universe seems interesting.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue is that they have decided once again to go the route and give Sony the updates before anything else.
Yeah, but console favoritism, it's been around for a while. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. So.
Well, you do understand that some of that is still pending 2 years down the road.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I think that's something that shouldn't really be done. There's not much we can do about it, I mean, speak with your wallet. Don't buy the game if you don't support that kind of thing.
But that's the thing. Is
I'll probably keep an eye out on it, see how it works. I base a lot of my purchases are based more along the lines of performance and how much people are enjoying it. I mean, Cube World hasn't, and there's Cube World news. Bear in mind, you all.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. Cube World had an update in like 3 years, and I still enjoy it. So,
Wally
I don't know.
Did crap to us today. Now, here's my take on the whole Destiny 2 thing. Is I'm excited for the game, and I want to play it because it's going to be the first time it's out on PC, which is like something I've said right from the start, that Destiny is the kind of game that needs to be on a PC. I want to get in on it.
Did you ever play any of the Destiny?
I have it on Xbox One, and I had it on PlayStation 4. So I mean, I have played it on both consoles.
Yeah. I played the beta when it first came out, and I played a little bit since then with friends. And the UI is absolutely designed for PC. I think it's an atrocity that game never came out on PC. I think it would have done famously if it came out on PC.
Yeah, but the thing that bugs me is that as a PC gamer, I'm sick and tired of consoles kind of getting exclusivity, and I think exclusivity, I get and understand why there's a need for it in certain ways, but also put a time limit on it. And this is one thing that I hope that they do this time is give Sony the heads up, give them like a month, 2 weeks, whatever it's going to be. But by giving exclusivity until the release of the next fucking game, no, and that was the big deal.
Yeah, I get that. I'm hoping that Bungie does a good job with that kind of thing. I like them as a company. I'm a big Halo fan. They did Halo, and I've been following them for a long time. Never really had any problems with them. I know there's a lot of controversy over the original game, but from what I can tell, they fixed a lot of the problems. I think the biggest controversy I remember was they released that DLC pack that was basically the game. The price of the game was like $60. But other than that, it's looked like a very solid game, and the people who enjoy it really enjoy it. So
there's still people playing it. So I'm
they're still putting out updates in progress for it, and it's like I said, it's got an interesting feel, and it's kind of a sub MMO genre, almost like what was that game that came out by Ubisoft not too long ago? I can't remember the name now for some reason. The Division, that's the one. It kind of had that same feel from what I heard. I never played The Division, but I've had a couple friends of mine who played both say they're very similar.
I like it. I like The Division a lot.
Yeah, that was another game that came out that had a lot of controversy behind it. Either you loved it or you didn't.
Yeah, that was absolutely one of them, and I agree. Oh dear Lord, why is everything blowing up? Sorry, I'm trying to look up stuff for. You brought up Wally, so I wasn't going to go there. But
we have to go there.
Oh, I know. I should have known better.
You cannot avoid the Wally. I look forward to my Tuesday stream where everyone shows up and they go, "Well, I need to know about the update. What do you know? When's it coming?"
Yeah,
I can't wait to see the update.
I'm going to do the quick change of my background and put the web thing up so you guys can see. Wolfram Von Funk he decided for April Fool's Day to troll everybody on the fricking internet and say, "I'm still working on the goddamn game." The only thing he did different this time was the last time he tweeted out was the same day that I sent him a tweet. This time he missed it by 2 days. It's like he was taking some days off before he responded to my tweet. He's never responded to anything, just kind of like circumstantial how he's done it. The first thing that he showed off today that I thought was when it hit my radar, was here's a short clip showing the new 64-bit engine, the new world map on the new Ocean music I've been working on, and it looks flawless.
Oh, I hope that eventually that game comes back.
Yep.
I enjoy it.
Then my favorite one was showing the shadows and shading on the snow, because that's really important right now. The other thing that actually I like, and it's something that's been a pet peeve of mine, is that he's added a map to the dungeon, so that if you're underground, you can actually see that.
I didn't actually see any of this until I was sitting on the toilet about 20 minutes before
That's where everybody tweets.
I was browsing Twitter, and it struck a chord with me that I saw something about Cube World. And I do like that dungeon thing, and I really, I look forward to the update. He's working slow progress, but stuff like that, I hope to God that update's the most perfect thing in the universe. Otherwise,
if it's not, he's going to be crucified.
Yeah, he's going to be crucified for it.
I don't think there's anything.
Enjoy the game. The base game. I've said it before in my streams, and I say it again. There needs to be, and Dream is a part of this, there needs to be a solid modding community that comes in and takes over that game, because that game could go places. It's got a very, very stable base game.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I still have people coming on a regular basis. Like, they're finding me on Twitch or they're finding me on Beam or on anything, and they're like, "Oh my God, somebody still plays Cube World."
Yeah.
And you're not a 7-year-old kid. This kind of thing, and I get like,
I get that every stream. I'll just be sitting there BSing, and people will show up, and it's still got a following. It really does. It may be a silent following, but it's still got a following behind it. And
well, I mean, just look at his tweets today. There's still 1.9 thousand, 3.7 thousand people liked it. So,
yeah,
you know, this is 6 months after the last news that he posted on there. So, yeah, I think he's doing good. Airsoft, just so you know, I'm not responding to the chat today. We're doing the live stream. If you guys are interjecting stuff for what we're talking about, we'll add it into the conversation. But don't get upset if I don't respond directly or right away. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm watching the chat, and I may get back to you guys later. But right now, we're just kind of talking about pertinence of the pertinarity. But yeah, Cube World, it's a game.
Yes, I'm very excited for Cube World. Cube World is going to be fun.
I think my thing about the update is either it's going to make or break that game.
Oh, sweet dear Lord! Why the things do the things? Wally's music decided to go over top of everything. I full screened the little video clip of his.
Oh God, no!
And then as soon as I did that, I was like, doodaloo 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 doodaloo.
Yeah, I think whenever the update comes out, if it's a good update, and I really hope it is, the game is going to have a huge resurgence, and I really hope it does because it's a fun game.
It is.
I really do enjoy the game. But I don't know how it's going to do. I hope it does good, for the sake of Wally's sanity. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to put the game back up for sale so people quit asking me where to get it.
Well, that's the thing, and he's already said before that once the update comes out, that he will put the game up for sale again. And again,
and that may be part of the reason he's taking so long.
He's in discussions with trying to get it on Steam and or GOG. I would like to see it on GOG. I'd like to see them get a boost because I like their servers. Because again, that's DRM free stuff. I mean,
and GOG is a very solid service, and CD Projekt Red, who's behind them, same people who made The Witcher, they are, everything about that studio and that kind of conglomerate of people is just fantastic and nothing but good for the gaming community.
They're on the news again.
Really? What'd they do this time?
Just a second. I'm going to pull it up here. I think it was on PC Gamer had it. They are talking. Dear God, I'm sorry. I just ate dinner and I've got freaking basil stuck to my teeth. I'm trying to suck it out. They were talking about that they have a bunch of people working on right now the new game, which is Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever it is.
I'm excited for that.
They've also stated that work and development on Witcher 3 is dead. They're no longer doing anything for it. That means there's no more.
I think they announced that when they put out the final DLC.
Yeah, but it's official now. There's nothing else. They're not working on any more extra DLCs. There's no surprises or anything. And then they were asked about Witcher 4. And the response, I think, was perfect, and I'm really proud of them for it. They said that it was originally developed as a trilogy, and that's how it's going to be.
Good. We need more companies to say that.
Yeah. I mean, don't just cash in on something because it was popular. Because I think Witcher 3 sold something like 29 million copies or something crazy.
It just broke 25 million this week.
That's phenomenal.
Which is fantastic. It is. If you have not played that game, I talk about this game every chance I can.
Yeah.
It's not everybody's game. It is a long game. You will get bored of it. It is absolutely worth the 100 hours you'll put into that game to beat the story. It is one of the very few games I give a 10 out of 10. It is fantastic.
The side missions on that game alone are better than most of the main missions in most games I play.
Yeah, honestly, the first time I ran through that game, I didn't do any of the Witcher quest or like the Witcher contracts. I went through and did as many as I could on my second playthrough, and they're stories in and of themselves, and they're not like, oh, Farmer Bill's got himself killed by some horrible beast. It's like all this tracking, and it goes back, and there's all kinds of wild stuff. It's in depth. There's some stupid ones.
It's a series of novels. I mean, the amount of lore that's behind it is great. I mean,
and the novels are good too. Yeah. If anybody out there hasn't read those, I'd recommend picking them up. They're pretty good.
I got them on my Kindle.
Yeah, I've been working through them on my Kindle. I need to plug it in and finish them, but they're a fantastic set of books.
The other thing that I saw this week that I'm actually kind of stoked, it's one of those little games that kind of showed up out of the middle of nowhere for me. And it kind of got me excited because of the fact of who was involved in it. The game is called Thimbleweed Park. Have you heard of it?
No.
Getting fairly decent reviews. It's another one of those old-fashioned point-and-click titles. And you ever play like Monkey Island and those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's from the same. Where is the guy's name? I recognize the name when they said it. It is anyway one of the guys that was one of the original developers of that genre is back.
Really?
And they just released the video game. I had no idea that A, that it was still a thing, or B, that somebody was still working on any of it. So I actually grabbed it, and it's going to be on my channel next week sometime. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, I'm looking forward to it. I have not played any of it yet, so the opening trailer is just absolutely disgusting and horrifying. You are basically looking like a drunken clown that's very pissed off at the world. And like a whole part of the storyline is don't worry about the dead body. It doesn't matter overall.
Oh, that's great.
And it's just right up my alley. I grew up. I got my feet wet on this style of gaming, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, you know, I did enjoy the old point and click games, though. You know, they're kind of a lost genre. What was it? I'm having such a hard time remembering names. Telltale has done a good job of bringing back, not exactly that old style, but they've done a pretty good job of kind of remastering it, and bringing it, modernizing it with things like Walking Dead and all that. Done a very good job of it.
Now, are you excited for the new one that they announced?
I have not yet played anything beyond Season 1.
They just announced...
In fact, I think that's the only Telltale game I've ever played, but it was very good.
They announced they're adding on... It's actually available on Steam. It is Telltale versions of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh. They've done so many different titles and franchises with these point-and-click adventure games. I'm very glad they have. They've done very good with them. There are very few that have reviewed poorly, to my mind. Or what
dude,
I've seen,
I can't believe I'm looking up Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series, and the second one to click on is from Breitbart. I'm like, oh
what?
What? How?
Breitbart.
Yeah, I'm like, when did they get into video games? I'm like, there's got to be something malicious attached to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've announced that they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently Thanos is going to be a part of it.
Ooh.
So I'm excited for it. I'm actually...
Guardians of the Galaxy is one of those things that just kind of came out of nowhere and did really, really well.
Unless you're an old school Marvel fan, and then, you know, it was like, where the hell has this been all my life?
Yeah. Marvel's doing a good job with that. I was talking with a friend of mine about the Marvel Cinematic Universe the other day. They have done great things with that.
I was surprised because of Legion. I got into that this weekend. I had no idea it was another Marvel series. I started watching this. I saw an X in the background. I'm like, why does this look like something from the X-Men? Like, this is starting to feel like it. And then I looked up Legion online. I'm like, son of a bitch. Oh, now I know who he is. And I started racking my brain and beating myself up over figuring out who he was. Really good series, though. I'm about halfway through it.
Yeah. I need to get caught up on the cinematic universe on Netflix. I watched how many seasons they had? Jessica Jones. I watched the first season of that.
There's only one so far of that. The second season is supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, I enjoyed. That was a good show. I've seen that one. I've seen a lot of the movies. I'm getting slowly caught up on the movies. I'm not great at going and seeing movies when they come out. I saw Civil War when they put it on Netflix, and I think that's the most recent one I've seen. Well, no, Deadpool, counting Deadpool. The most recent
thing I've seen was the last X-Men.
Yeah,
that
I need
to
sit
HBO on demand, so I watched it last weekend.
I need to sit down and watch all these movies. I gotta get caught up. There's a lot of movies I gotta get caught up with.
You know, I'm kind of getting burnt out on the whole superhero movie thing, to be absolutely honest.
I think that's gonna happen soon. It's become the genre over the last 10 years or so, and it's a good genre and I enjoy it. But yeah, I agree. It's getting to its point where they're just kind of digging for gold.
I was calling the death bell for it as soon as they announced Aquaman. Because nobody in the right mind ever liked Aquaman, and even with was it Jason Momoa, whatever his name is?
Yeah, can Jason Momoa save Aquaman? Is the question.
He couldn't act his way out of Conan. I mean, give me a break. I love him. I think he's great. The man that can throw an axe like that. I think he's got an absolute skill set. But again, watching Conan, I was like, "Oh, aren't you pretty?" It was just like it didn't quite. I mean, how could you have less stage presence than Arnold Schwarzenegger delivering lines as Conan? That's kind of how
can't beat Arnie though. The Governator.
Dude, he had some of the best lines in the 80s. Like, just single lines.
Oh, he was great. He really was.
I mean, Star Wars is blowing up, going that he's actually a fan of Jason Momoa and that he may save Aquaman. Okay, you got to understand, I grew up watching Aquaman stuff, and I'm sorry, in the Justice League of America, Aquaman showed up, he goes, well, I can talk to the fish. He was outclassed by a freaking green monkey. Gleek. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Gleek was the only reason I watched Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. It's rough.
So, shall we talk about some serious bits and pieces, or do you want to? Is there anything else that you wanted to get in on?
Probably, but I don't know.
Are you paying attention to Arc?
No, not at all. Something interesting happening in Arc.
Update came through.
Ooh, pray tell.
They added a whole bunch of new features to it. It's a fairly large update. Broke a few things, made a few things work great. They've added teleporters, so you can. Ooh. It's actually part of the tech tier later on in the game. They've added 2 variants of horses. Thank you very much. One of them is also a unicorn.
Okay, good. That will bring me back to Arc.
But the best part about the unicorn, 1 per map.
Ooh.
They're very rare. So first one wins. I would love to start a series where it's just us going on, have a group of 4 running through Arc trying to find the freaking unicorn. It's currently on sale this weekend. If you guys don't have it and you like Arc, it's on sale for $9.95.
Yeah, Arc is it's an interesting game.
Yeah. I was on with my son Leechy earlier. We played. I got the server up and running again. I actually set up Scorched Earth, which is one of the DLCs. I picked that up, which is neat because it actually incorporates dinosaurs. But they broke them. Not incorporate dinosaurs. It incorporated dragons, wyverns, or that kind of thing. Broke the hell out of them. Now they don't fly. It's just kind of funny.
They're like Cube World dragons.
Yeah, they're pretty awful. What else did they add? They added underwater bases are now a thing that you can have in the game. So there's a lot of
they're doing Subnautica.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of like high-end stuff to actually incorporate it. But again, like any of the mods and stuff are going to try to catch up with it because there's a lot of stuff broken.
Yeah, that's Arc is a very broken game. It's fun, but it's got its issues. I need to get back into it. A lot of people like to watch that. I'm trying to balance out the schedule to do everything, but I'd like to get back and do some more Arc.
Yeah, what I want to do with the Arc is now that I've got the server up and running, I want to touch base with a bunch of people on the Leech Snow, and now the bunch of the drunk gamers have it, and kind of like doing a matchup of having a free-for-all, and then just everybody tag team and just kill Kit.
That's perfect.
You know, or even like go on raids against each other, that kind of thing. I think it could be a lot of fun. My server can handle 70 people, so there should be ample room for all of us to get in and have fun with it. And then we can adjust the sliders and all that to make resource gathering. Like give it like 2 weeks so you can gather all the resources you want. You know, have the building go crazy, and then actually scale it all back down again. Make things.
Yeah, I like that. That's one of my favorite features of that game is the fact that you can actually scale the resource gathering and the hunger and all that, because by default that game is brutal in terms of everything.
Leechy logged in, he was punching a tree, he goes, why am I taking damage from collecting wood? I'm like, this isn't Minecraft.
This is the real world, child.
And then dude, he showed up and I thought, like, of course in Ark you don't spawn anywhere near each other and all that kind of crap, but he showed up and he had borked his character so bad he looked normal, except his waist it came out as a shelf and it was massive. Like, he had, like, I don't know how the hell he did it. He's like, what did I do? Like,
the character creator in that game is my favorite thing. In so many games, it's perfect. It is the best character creator because you can make some goofy looking dudes.
Dude, I want to make it. I got to take a look to see if there's like a bunch of, like, if there's a character creator mod to make it even more insane than it is. So.
Oh, it is. It's brutal. I love it though. I do.
The thing is I'm starting to like the concept and the idea of doing modded Ark. Pain in the ass to set up. Like I went and set it up. It was like 36 mods, and then my computer was dying at me, going, "Oh, stop me!" But potentially now over the next couple of weeks, I may be getting a Ryzen system. So
Yeah, so that's coming along. It's
it's a thing.
yeah, Arc is fun though. Everybody should play it for the dodos.
Do you want to touch base on something as well? Talking about Ryzen. Interesting thing. I watch a lot of YouTube videos on stuff,
I've noticed.
and I'm trying to keep abreast of everything. And I don't like to just pick one person to follow. Like I like playing devil's advocate and trying to find every side of every story.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman out called Adored TV.
Right.
And he did something very interesting. I'm going to throw up his video here in the background. Oh, dear God. He showed something very interesting that I hadn't seen before. Everybody's been doing a lot of Ryzen testing, and they've been doing like the downscaling and stuff to... God, people are saying about Overwatch. I'm like, I'm not touching that. That's your thing.
That's my problem.
Yeah. So what they're talking about now is the fact that all these people are doing tests on the system using NVIDIA graphics cards, high-end graphics cards, and they're testing it on Intel 7700s versus the 1800Xs. And there's like these disparaging differences, like 30%, where the 7700 just kicking its ass. And it's been causing a lot of grief, and people are saying that AMD is not mature, it's not running properly, blah, 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 blah. Well, this guy at Adored TV, I dig him because he's not afraid to get into crap over things.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've been testing everything the way that everybody else is, so I'm going to throw in two 480s, because that should be about the same as a 1070 that he's running. And something interesting happened. It caught up.
Really?
And so there's been, like I mentioned last week, there's this whole thing about the memory. The faster the memory you have, then the better it works. And now all of a sudden, the interesting thing is that what this is showing in DirectX 11, it's not necessarily as big a jump, but it's in DirectX 12. Because in DirectX 12, the reason for having that is because it was going to be utilizing the multi-threaded cores. There's optimization in DirectX 12 for that.
That was the whole big thing about DirectX 12 and AMD was the fact that it works with more of the cores. It works better with multiple core systems.
And that's what people have been seeing with this, is that it wasn't working.
Yeah.
But guess what everyone's testing all of these machines on?
They're all running NVIDIA stuff.
Everybody's running 1070s, 1080s, 1080 Ti's, all that thing. So when you throw in the 480s...
I get that because that is the market. That's the top of the market right now. There are no AMD cards, single cards that compete with a 1080.
Yet.
But I think when Vega comes around, that's going to be a whole different question.
We're going to find out in 2 weeks.
But there are AMD, as much as I love AMD cards and I praise them, I do admit, that AMD cards are certainly not up there with NVIDIA cards.
No.
For what I do and for what I need, they're perfect. I'm perfectly happy with my little 290.
Oh, yeah.
It does very well. It's good for gaming and streaming, and I don't have a problem with it. But if I was to sit down, if I was one of those people, I'm going to get everything perfect, have 1440p or 4K, 60 FPS or 144 FPS, whatever unrealistic frame rate measurement that you want to reach, I'm not going to be able to do that with my, maybe 4 or 5 in Crossfire, but I'm not going to be able to do that with my 290. You can do it with you'd probably do it with two 480s and I keep wanting to say SLI, but Crossfire, but it's, I don't know, it's all over the place.
Well, you look at the price points. I mean, you can grab two 480s right now for around the $200 mark.
Yeah.
So that's not a huge gap when you're looking at the 1070s are running around the $400 mark anyway. Yeah. So you can have two 480s versus a 1070. But that's not the thing that I found was interesting. The reason that the AMD Ryzen is having issues is not because of the fact that there's something wrong with its thing. I mean, they do need to have coding in the games to get it going. They proved that already with Ashes of Singularity. The new update that they did for it is giving a 35% boost to it. So that's already showing that, once you start coding for the game, so new games coming out down the road, they'll start be able to take advantage of Ryzen and be able to do a lot more. But NVIDIA's drivers for DirectX 12 are starting to show a weakness because everything's been Intel. So now you've got AMD in the mix, and an AMD graphics card and an AMD processor is now starting to keep up with NVIDIA and Intel.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whether or not AMD does what they want to do and kind of recaptures a lot of market share with this new lineup of processors and graphics cards, at the end of the day, it's going to be a huge wake-up call to Intel that they need to get the train rolling.
Oh,
They
yeah.
need to get moving on all this stuff because they've spent, realistically, they've spent the last 15 years dragging because they've been on top. They've been the market kings. They've been, we don't have to, they've made decent progress in their new, jump from, what was the last one to Skylake?
Oh, to Cabby Lake from Skylake to Cabby Lake.
Yeah, there's a decent jump there.
No, there's not. Less than 4%.
I'm thinking of I'm thinking of the one before Skylake.
Yeah, Skylake. The one to Skylake was a fairly significant one. It's like around 8%.
Yeah,
But that's
when I was talking.
You're not seeing great. I mean, look at Intel. I mean, look at AMD. They did 51% jump over their last generation stuff. Mind you, they had to go through brand new architecture.
I'm not sitting here saying that AMD isn't doing anything.
No.
What I'm saying is Intel spent the last 15 years dragging their feet. They've been doing these 5-10% upgrades every processor generation, releasing new processor generation every other year. AMD comes in the mix. They throw down this 30-40% boost. They kind of wake up Intel saying, hey, these guys are gaining really quickly. We need to do something about that.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to end better for all of us at the end of the day because it's going to drive down prices and it's going to drive up performance. That's
Duke
what
Dog
we need.
did properly, saying that in early days, yes, AMD did absolutely rule against Intel. But what Intel had behind it was also the hype and the monetary system that they marketed the hell out of it. There was a lot of stuff that they did. They were actually running slower than some of the AMD stuff, but Intel had the money, like NVIDIA does. They can out-hype it.
Intel had backing from Microsoft, too, at the time, which was huge. AMD was more IBM, wasn't it?
As far as I understand, yeah. And the thing is, like, I mean, everybody, like, growing up, like, in the 90s, you could not go anywhere without hearing doom ding doom bing, that Intel theme. Mm-hmm. Like, that was everywhere. You play a game.
Even in the early 2000s. I remember that. I remember Intel commercials everywhere. As soon as you turn on the TV, you'd hear all the Intel commercials and stuff. That's all it was. AMD wasn't anywhere. Intel had the market share. They had the advertising. They had all this. And AMD just fell behind.
Well, that's the thing, too, is like now AMD's back, and with this new architecture, not only are they going after the consumer market, but they're actually going after the server market. And that's where Intel's going to feel the pinch, because if these 32-core processors, the new Naples ones and what that they're working on, they're already putting the fear of God into Intel. Intel is going to make some drastic changes. So.
Yeah, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's good for everyone in the long run, whether you support AMD or Intel, because it's going to drive prices down and it's going to make everything advance a lot quicker. And I look forward to that. I really do. We need better technology out there.
And competition. Competition is definitely a good thing.
Competition's good for everyone. Intel has spent way too long having control of the market.
And much to AMD's discredit, they've flopped a lot in the last decade on a lot what they've done with the processors. So, I mean, they had some decent ideas, but they were going after the multi-threaded core thing way too early. And there was no support
clicked
for
with
it.
them, but that they need to have better per core performance and not just stack more cores onto there to make it run faster.
I did say Duke Dog. Sorry, I said that Duke Dog was right, and he said I didn't mention him. So if you say stuff like that's a Crusty. I wanted to address. People have been asking what the hell I'm breathing in. I vape, bruh.
Bruh.
Yeah, this is zero nicotine. I was a 20-some-odd year smoker. I quit almost a year and a half ago, just over a year and a half ago now. Mm-hmm. Was going on to lower nicotine. I quit all nicotine last July. Now I use it just as a crutch so that I don't pick up a cigarette. So, yes, I know that Twitch says everything about frickin' Cube World because they don't understand what a podcast is and they won't let me change the damn titles. Getting salty.
Oh man. Yeah, AMD.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for this little run with AMD.
I think they've done a very good job with it already. A lot of people are putting it down, but it's good for what it is. And I'll go back to my original point that I've been making every single day since it came out. Is a lot of people were expecting this to beat out Intel at a lower price. That's not what it was intended to do. It was intended to scare them. I think the next generation of cores after this is the one that's going to beat them out.
Yeah.
because you know they do very well for the price, but they're certainly not as good. But I think next generation they're going to learn from what they did in this one, and they're going to make them better, and they're going to come back.
Oh dear God, Nate!
Oh no!
I just got another $5 donation from Nate.
Really?
Yeah. And he says, hey, got a little bit of extra money. Tell Chris I'm watching you because he is hateful. Just kidding. I know that he was working.
Yeah, we were supposed to start our podcast yesterday, and I didn't get home till 1 in the morning.
And I've been asked.
In bed.
The Cube World is not currently available for any other platform other than Windows.
No.
There's no Linux support or Mac support.
Nope. It is a Windows-only game.
Yeah. It was brought up the other day. I thought it would be a great idea I think Cube World would be the perfect thing to put on Switch.
Oh, good God.
Could you imagine sitting on the shitter playing your Cube World on your... I think it'd be great. And
it
also,
would work.
I do want to address that if you guys do feel the need to want to throw us some money, there is Super Chat enabled on my stream, or if you want to go and throw money at Chris, donations are available on Twitch. So, you know,
I've
it
got
keeps us...
everything linked for it. I'm not going to sit here and encourage it, but if for whatever god-awful reason you feel like sending currency to me, I will most likely spend it on terrible Steam games I'll never play on my channel.
Oh, dude,
Last time I spent a donation, I bought those terrible indie games, or those sim games. That's what I spent it on.
I watched the hell out of that.
I bought the horrible sim games, and I did like a 3-hour stream where all I did was play terrible sim games, and they were horrible. It was like European Firefighter Simulator 2016, and it was broken, and it didn't work, and all the buildings burned down.
I love that.
It was horrible. Let me see if I can pull up the video so people can watch it in the background.
Chris, we have a question that has absolutely nothing to do with gaming or technology, but it's kind of
good.
funny. Do you like big titties?
Oh. Now, this is something I could talk about. That is the question I have been waiting for years.
Listen, I'm going to answer it like my father would, and it's a very simple thing. Anything more than a mouthful is wasted, so... I was 12 when my dad said that to me. I wish I could take it back, but I can't.
Oh my God! I've been awake for too long today. Yeah, so
I am turning beet red now. Oh, thank you very much, Cartoonify, for that stupid question.
I love you, man.
It's not Cartooner.
Yeah, Cartooner. Yeah.
No, it was Cartoonify. It was somebody new.
Oh, Cartoonify. There's a new Cartooner.
Yeah, there's a new Cartoonify. I'd love to say yes.
I like this one more than the other one. Can we have this one instead?
Oh God, what's Duke saying? Oh, Nate's got Arc, by the way. He's really psyched about that.
I do want to refresh once again for those who may be new or not paying a ton of attention to the, well, we're paying enough attention to see comments like that.
Talking about tits.
But we're paying not a ton of attention to the chat. No. I've got the terrible Sim stream up in the background now.
No, dude, that was
playing.
See,
European fire truck
I
simulator.
was
That's
so
back
tempted.
when I was using a green screen.
Dude, I so want you to get the bundle. I saw it on Bundle Stars today. I thought of you when I got it, and I thought I'm tempted to pick it up and just send it to you. It's the $1 Uber bundle.
Oh no!
I'm going to throw this up. This is horrifying. It's $1, 29 Steam games.
No.
Yep. And they all range in prices from $1.99 to 99 cents. Like, it's just, it is everything imaginable.
Bad indie game.
Yeah, it's like what do we have here? We have Desolate Waste, State of Anarchy, Project Starship, Fall of Civilization. Nothing I've ever heard of. None of these titles. But 29 games for $1. So many cubes, so you can play that right after you do some Cube World. AI Rampage. I mean, it's just...
I gotta put something together for that 1,000 subscriber special, so there we go. Let's get on it, people. Come on.
There is a Shadow of Mordor bundle on here as well.
Yeah, I picked that up not too long ago. Too long ago. I picked it up like a year ago. I need to get through and play it. I may throw that in the games I need to stream pile. I've got a lot. But yeah, it's a terrible indie
There
game
is
streams
one
in
here
my
that I'm going to be
forte.
streaming soon too. As I picked this up when I first started my channel, I picked up this bundle. It's the Fear bundle, $5 for
Oh yeah,
Fear.
I've heard Fear. A friend of mine is really into Fear, and he tells me it's pretty good. So
It
I
is
may have to
very solid. Fear 3 is a freaking solid shooter, man. I love it.
I'll throw that one in the.
$5.
I'm about halfway through LA Noir right now, so I'm kind of starting to look at what I want to play when I get done with that.
Yep.
So, because right now I've only got the room for the one extra terrible game to play in the background. I'm looking for the worst facial animations to compete with LA Noir. So I haven't yet found it.
Yeah.
I love that game, but the facial animations are so rough.
You need to play Andromeda.
Listen, all right, we're gonna go and we're gonna solve some cases today.
Dude, there are so many videos on YouTube about what's wrong with the facial animations. Like people talking about the eyes, everything.
Everything's so broken in Mass Effect. I love it. I still want to pick that up and play it.
Oh, I'm getting that off the bargain bin, man.
Oh, God,
Andromeda is going to be one of those games. I mean, I just picked up 1, 2, and 3 not that long ago for like $6, and I've got them.
They're
all
good
in order.
games. The original, fantastic games. One
Yep.
of the best, if not the best trilogy I've ever played. The Andromeda, I've heard it's more money grabbish.
Duke Dog is asking you a question, Chris, since it's going to be directly. He
Hey.
wants to know, is
Hi.
Chris, are you an Intel fanboy?
I have an Intel processor. I use it and I enjoy it. I wouldn't consider myself a fanboy.
I think you and I are both the same, where we actually just like things that function for what we need.
I want my thing in this whole debacle. As far as graphics cards go, I'll say I'm an AMD fanboy. I like AMD
Yep.
cards. But as far as processors go, Intel is objectively better, and that's why I use it. I use it for if I was just gaming, if I didn't stream or anything like that, I would have stayed with my old AMD processor. I needed something that was stronger for streaming and media
Yep.
production, so I bought this Intel processor. I like it. It's a
Yep.
wonderful processor. I still hope that AMD comes out with something better because I like competition.
But you and I have the
How
same
can-
processor. I mean, that's
Yeah, we have the same one. It's fantastic. The
It works
i5
great.
6600K. Buy it.
Yep.
Buy it now. Buy 3 or 4 of them.
nope.
No.
No, I would wait entirely for the. Well, I'll bust it open with the one I'm looking at. I'm looking at getting the new 1600 from AMD. That's
Yeah. Is that the ones that are coming out this month?
the ones coming out on the 11th.
Yeah,
It's
I've got a buddy of mine who's going to buy in. He's going to go AMD with Ryzen, so I'm interested to see how that's going to go. I have a lot of friends that do things I can talk about what they do. I don't do any of these things.
Well, I'm looking at the cost that I can do it for. The processor itself is $219. I can get a motherboard for it for about $85. The only downside right now is the price of RAM and SSDs has gone through the freaking roof lately.
They have. I wanted to get some more RAM for my desktop, and it has gotten expensive.
$100 for 16 gigs is way too low.
I am perfectly peachy with my 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
I will find other ways. I will find other ways for that much money. There's a lot I can do with $100, unless I get my maker money, in which case I'll buy all the RAM that I've ever needed. No, I'm just gonna spend. I spent $100 on bad indie games. I'm just gonna buy that bundle 100 times over.
Yeah. The dollar bundle.
Yeah.
Well, I should be getting my check from YouTube because they don't pay until you get $100. So I should be getting that sometime in the next month or so.
I can't wait. Till
Which brings me up to the debacle I've been waiting to frickin' talk about.
debacle. Let's debunk.
YouTube nonsense.
YouTube nonsense. That's my favorite content.
If you guys have been living under a bus and don't know what's going on, Wall Street Journal broke an article earlier on last week or so, talking about advertisers are getting all up in arms because of the fact that ads are showing up on terrorist YouTube videos and blah blah blah. And these are the same guys that went after and attacked PewDiePie, saying that he was a Nazi. So what has happened is currently over 250 of the larger advertisers, including PepsiCo, Walmart, the British government, a bunch of them, have completely
The
pulled.
British government threatened to, from what I heard, the British government's threatening to charge YouTube with like aiding and abetting terrorists over this.
It's good luck with that.
They've got grounds, from what I heard. They've got good grounds.
Potentially. Potentially. Here is what I have with the issue that's going on currently, is that we have mob mentality happening, and it's affecting YouTube drastically. And of course, because this kind of comes out of left field, it comes off and hits so quick. YouTube is, again, those people that don't communicate very well to us, the content creators or to anybody. They have a lovely blog they'd like to comment on and leave stuff out, but they don't. Again, a platform that uses videos and they write a blog to keep us up to date on things. I find that absolutely humorous. So I'm not saying that they're completely without fault in this whole debacle, but I'm looking at it in a different light. And what has to happen, what's happening is freaking awful for everybody involved right now. So as of this moment, a lot of the revenue that would be going out to YouTubers like you and me is not.
No.
The ads that we're running on our videos are being pulled back drastically. I've seen I'm maybe getting 10% of the money that I was getting this time last month. And this is usually when it starts to ramp up and we get more and more. So we go from a slower time to a faster time, and it's not going to be showing. And we're not the only ones that's going to be seeing the pinch of this. This is going to ruin a lot of people.
This is why I say over and over and over again, this doesn't really affect me, but
no.
If for whatever reason I ever get big enough on YouTube where I consider making it my full-time job, diversify your income.
Yep.
Do Patreon.
Yep.
Sell shirts.
Yep.
Accept donations.
Yep.
Do all of this stuff. Do not at all just rely on income, especially as just broken as the YouTube income system is. Honest to God, I don't know if you'll even be able to make money off this thing in 2 or 3 years.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just pull AdSense completely off of this platform over the next while.
I like my pennies. They're nice. They're shiny. I am perfectly fine if they said no more pennies. This is not going to make or break me financially. If I ever got big enough, I'd launch a Patreon. If I ever break 1,000 subscribers or something like that, I may launch a Patreon. I've talked about launching a Patreon before, just for the sake of running a Minecraft server, because people have asked me for stuff like that.
I'm setting up mine right now. I'm getting everything that works for it.
I've thought about it. Every now and again, every once in a blue moon, when I'm playing Cosmic Craft, people will ask if I'll ever start a server for fans, and it's one of those things. I'm open to it.
Gotta help.
But one of those things is, I'm not really big about donations. I always feel kind of bad for taking donations. I don't know why. That's just me being weird.
See, I don't feel guilty or bad about that at all. I mean, I look at it this way, and this is something that I've done myself. Duke's asking if Patreon Cube World servers coming soon. Potentially. Duke. Now I've lost track of my train of thought. Frig. I hate when I do this.
I was making fun of Star on my video, but
okay.
He told me I spelled Lonstons wrong on my video, and he made me sad. Yeah, YouTube funding is weird. That's my moral of that story.
Yeah, I mean, I remember what I was saying. Is that for me, I've been that guy that goes out and sees concerts and local bands and all that kind of thing. And I've always been the one that kind of goes in, and I will throw $10 down and grab a CD from a guy that printed it at home, just to make sure that they can make a little bit of money. And I did that when I was bartending. When we have bands come in, I have my closet is full of band shirts. It's all I've worn for the past 10 years is all the band T-shirts I've gotten. So if people want to support me the exact same way, I will absolutely take it, and that's why I'm going to be starting the Patreon. And I'm going to be setting it up so that people can have access to certain things, and I want to make it so that people feel like there's value to what they're doing when they donate.
That's my thing, honestly. I don't get a lot of donations. I don't get a lot of people, do you have a donation place? I don't go out of my way to advertise that. I joke about it, but, I don't go out of my way to advertise it. I've got one. I'd feel more comfortable with Patreon with stuff you get back out of it, like a Minecraft server or maybe like a postcard or something like that. Because, it's actually something of importance. You're actually getting something out of it. Some people would say, well, just making entertaining content is enough, but I would rather give someone something, tangible.
Yeah,
something they can actually make use out of, other than just me sitting here being an idiot, 2 or 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, 5-6 days a week.
I mean, I've even gone the route of like how I am when it comes to I'll buy bundles all the time, and I will look through stuff, and I'm happy enough to just send blind keys off to my friends and say, here, redeem that, have fun with it. And I look at them, and I always look at the game. I'm like, I would love to see this on Kit's channel, or I'd love to see this on our channel, or Chris's channel. And I always kind of do it that way so that, you guys can share the wealth. Because some of it's just games that either I've gotten free, or I'm not going to ever play.
Yeah, that kind of thing I always appreciate. I got Subnautica that way. You gave me Subnautica through that. I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's a lot of people found my channel through that, which I appreciate. And that kind of thing it's great.
Yeah. But I knew that you would work well with Subnautica, and I knew that it was your kind of game. It's like, take Minecraft, throw salt on it. Pfft, done.
Saltwater Minecraft.
Yeah. But so here's my thought on what's happening with the current state of things and why this is happening to YouTube suddenly and why this is becoming a thing. Both the PewDiePie story as well as this story came out of the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
So these are the root of the issue. Now, mind you, this is also printed media that is feeling the pinch of the new media, and we are part of this new media. I watch zero television on regular TV. I have TV, I have cable. I watch everything on demand, or I watch Netflix. I refuse. So
we have TV in my house. I don't watch it. Everyone else does. I don't. Everything is Netflix. Oh, the only thing I watch on regular TV is Walking Dead.
I'm 50 freaking years old, and I'm still part of the newer generation that's dealing with this stuff. I am a weird anomaly because my generation still reads newspapers and still goes and picks up magazines and still signs up for whatever.
And I like physical media like that. It's weird. I do like that. We have a free edition of a local paper delivered here every week. I'll sit down and read that. I don't have a problem with that. I enjoy physical media, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the new media. Having all that in the palm of my hand. I sit down, I browse on Reddit, look at the news on there. That's where I get 90% of my stuff's online.
You're not alone. But
there's a whole generation of people. That is the only way they have ever gotten their media.
So you've got this whole generation of people, plus invading into my generation, that is no longer utilizing. Like, I'm sure that the Wall Street Journal and that are feeling the pinch. A lot of the printed media are feeling the pinches, and plus, I mean, you've got some of the printed media now will have websites, but please pay in order to have access to it.
Yeah, that kind of thing's stupid. But,
so
we're entering a new world of media, and I don't think anyone knows
what I'm thinking.
Old media is just kind of trying their hardest to clinch on to what they used to have.
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
The dinosaurs died off for a reason.
Yeah.
The way that the advertising is, and you've got the issue is for me currently is that you have a whole breed of old school advertisers that I don't think ever should have been advertising on YouTube to begin with. Because all that they've ever brought to this platform has been the mainstream channels. So you've got ABC, NBC, and all that. Like, I don't want to see a carpool karaoke on YouTube. I don't care for that. What this platform has been and always will be for me is, and I mentioned it on one of my streams, this is the garage band of new media. This is where people come, they can get out, they can do something out of their garage. I'm sitting in a shitty little apartment doing this thing, and you're sitting in your bedroom. But we now have a voice. I have currently 6 people watching me. Who knows how many people is going to watch this once the podcast is done. So we have a voice that I never had before.
Yeah, we live in an age where, and this, I've gotten into, especially because of all this YouTube nonsense, I've gotten into media, a lot of media stuff, and done things that someone even 20 years ago wouldn't have been able to do. I've shot a short film, a full feature short film. That is not something people could have done, 20 years ago. That kind of stuff I go through. I've shot video just for small projects that people would sit back and look at and go, that looks like something that would air on TV. Stuff. Media is becoming increasingly easier and easier. It's becoming increasingly easier for everyone to access. And there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of advertisers and a lot of old school people in media who are not at all prepared for this. And the problem is those people, instead of going, oh, I wasn't prepared for this, okay, let me adapt, they're sitting there going, no, nothing's changing, just go away, scary new things. And that's going to happen with everything. That happens with everything, no matter what it is, whether it's media, whether it's computers or anything else.
You've seen it happen to the music industry.
Yeah, it's happened to the music industry. There's all kinds of stuff that's gone down.
It is a complete shambles.
Physical media is still pretty big in music, but it's.
See, I'm this person. I love serendipity. I love how things just happen. On a recent Humble Bundle, the one that I picked up, the Freedom Bundle, where you got the Subnautica from, in that was this audiobook. that I downloaded to my phone accidentally because I put in the Humble Bundle. It's weird. It's weird. I put in the Humble Bundle app, and I downloaded all the stuff. There was a bunch of books. There was audiobooks and a bunch of the video games. The video games is what I wanted. So I'm listening to my phone shuffle through everything, and all of a sudden this audiobook pops on. And it's got Amanda Palmer talking. You know, and she's Neil Gaiman's wife.
Yeah.
And, you know, musician and everything. And she starts talking about how she started off doing everything. And she started talking about content creating and content creators. And she was talking about musicians. She wasn't talking about us per se, but she was. And she was talking to us directly for today. And it was really interesting. What she was saying is like, she was a street performer, and she could bank on making X number of dollars every month. It paid her rent, it paid her food, lodging. She traveled all around the world doing this thing. And then she became a rock star-ish. And my thinking is like, this is so appropriate because the issue we're running into is where you put constraints on art is where things are going to backfire. And I think a lot of the problems that we have right now is that the media or the advertisers are trying to put a constraint on us as artists. And that sucks.
I think a thing that doesn't help, this is kind of not related in a way, but in a way it is, you know. We live in an age where everyone can be an artist. You know, everyone, as a photographer, anyone with a cell phone can consider themselves a photographer. As someone who does
famous on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who can pick up a VHS camera, or not VHS, Jesus Christ, VHS camera. Really, it all revolves around phones. You pick up a phone, you can shoot a full length movie on a phone. Phones, you know, phone quality in camera is tremendous. I think there's some phones out there that you can almost do 4K in now.
Yes.
Anyone could sit here in front of a computer screen and talk for 20 minutes over Minecraft. 55 billion people have done that. That's why Minecraft market's so oversaturated. There's so many people. There's such a large sea of people out there now. It's getting so hard to get recognized, and it almost becomes when everybody's an artist, nobody is. And it almost takes away from that a little bit in this new media where everyone is a part of the new media.
But I think But advertisers need to understand that this new media is not going to go anywhere.
And that's certainly something I agree with. And that's advertisers, especially in the modern age, are having a very hard time with that due to things like ad blockers. Everyone has an ad blocker installed nowadays. You know, it's not great. You know, people need this money to survive.
Oh, but why did we install those ad blockers?
Yeah, because the ads are annoying. The ads are intrusive.
No, when you go to a website and there's 75 pop-ups and they start to destroy your computer, I never installed an ad blocker to stop advertisements. I stopped it from all the spam happening where it destroyed and ruined my computer system. That's where I took control back against them. You know, it's like, no, you're not allowed to invade my privacy. And that gets me on the other frickin' topic about invasion of privacy happening right now.
We'll talk about that in a minute because I still have a couple things to add on.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
But advertising is going to have to, and there are some companies out there who have done an absolutely fantastic job of standing back and realizing this is what they need to do to change advertising. A lot of these have to do with, you know, the companies that choose to associate with podcasts, like Audible. You know, there's Warby Parker, Casper Mattress. All these are just ones I name off the top of my head. I've heard from podcasts I listen to. Those are the people that are gonna succeed. And those aren't advertisers. Those are companies contacting these people wanting to advertise. I think big advertising firms out there, like we see now, are not going to have that happen. These companies need to back away from broad advertising and move to small scale advertising. Focus on podcasts. Focus on things that will make money. It's interesting. It's kind of weird to see where advertising is going to go in the next.
I think what we may end up seeing is where things will scale back away. Right now, like, I don't agree with the fact that everything gets monetized. I think that's broad strokes are too freaking stupid. Yeah. And again, like, I thought when I first started doing YouTube, the fact that how easy it was for me to get monetized was pointless, because again, like, for me, I don't have any say on who gets advertised on my channel. Like, if I click monetization, then I'm just kind of throwing my hat in the wind, and whatever random thing gets thrown at me gets thrown at me. I mean, I may not necessarily agree with the politics behind a certain corporation or anything, and then all of a sudden they're advertising on my product. And just like much as that they should say that I don't want to be seen on this guy's stuff, I should also have the ability to say, well, I don't agree with this either. I think what needs to happen, which is probably going to happen, is like what I've started doing myself, is I've actually started reaching out to them all by myself. I'm reaching out to companies for sponsorships to see, hey, would you be willing to give me product or let me do reviews or anything so that I could try to generate extra revenue, like setting up the Amazon thing, like anything. Like there's a multitude of things that we can do, but I don't want to become that spam channel where all I'm doing is like spamming everything. I want to be able to do little bits.
There's a very fine line you have to walk as a content creator, because we do this. I don't do it, but there's a lot of people that do this for a living.
Yep.
There are a lot of people that sit here and they look at their computer monitor and they talk, and that's how they make their money. They have to make that money somewhere. The problem is drawing that fine line that says, hey, where do you draw the line when it comes to product placement? Where do you draw the line when it comes to advertising? Because if someone came to me, if 3 or 4 different companies came to me and said, hey, if the start of every stream you say, hey, this stream brought to you by Audible, if 3 or 4 different companies did that, 3 or 4 different firms, I would do that. I wouldn't, sit there and talk a whole stream about. There's some people out there that do that. Like, I have my Casper mattress. I sleep on it every night. They talk about that's all they talk about during the streams. And at that point, you're basically just watching 2 hours of streams or 2 hours of advertising with a video game in the background. That's not what I think is good advertising ethics. No. It's a very gray area, and a lot is still being figured out is the problem.
You know what, though? I mean, I look at it this way. It's like, if, let's say I've got like a bunch of companies that want to send me components so that I could do my new build so I could actually stream better.
Right.
And I will have a listing of those components and do like unboxings and stuff for my new build. Happily.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is acceptable.
Yeah. And to put in a link at the end of my thing, it's like, this is my computer, this is how it was built, and these are where you can get the components, and then I get a kickback from that as well. Even if I don't make money up front from the companies and they just give me the product, that still allows me to do what I do here without having to invest my own personal funds, which is,
like I said, there's a billion and one different ways that companies can help. And I think there's a lot of companies out there that do want to help these YouTubers, people like us.
And again, I think this is all the knee-jerk reaction, is that we've got a bunch of people reacting to the advertisers these advertisers are overreacting. We've got YouTubers that are overreacting.
The thing is, a lot of these companies are pulling advertisement too. Look at Walmart. These are these big super corporations that are so disconnected with what is modern and how modern advertising works. And it goes back, people stuck in their ways. But Walmart does not understand that you can take an ad out in somebody's podcast and probably get as much notability, if not more, because of ad blockers. Than you would just running a regular ad on YouTube. There's a lot of smaller companies that get that, but there are also a lot of bigger companies that don't.
Well, look, I mean, you can even take a look at like Walmart's online persona. You can order all this stuff from them, but a lot of that doesn't actually come from Walmart. It comes from other companies. So they actually allow people to sell things through them, like an eBay type of thing. So you may not actually get what you're paying for through Walmart's website, which can be disconcerting for a lot of people because they're looking at this company saying, well, I trust Walmart. It's right down the street. I can order it from them and they'll send it to my house. This is great. And sometimes, and that kind of thing, if that starts hurting them, it's going to bite them in the ass too.
Yeah. I don't know. Advertising is a very weird gray spot that it's a changing beast right now. It really is. We are looking at for lack of a better term, we're looking at a revolution in advertising. That is the best way I can think to describe it, because it is, I think 5 or 10 years from now, it's not going to be, especially with people getting rid of televisions, people listening to Spotify instead of traditional FM radio, people sitting back and watching YouTube with their ad blockers on. It's not going to be the same 5 or 10 years from now than it is right now.
No, everything changes, and it's going to have to change. And I think that too many. It's like the same thing we were talking about earlier with AMD and Intel. Like Intel sitting on their laurels and things were just happening, and they were raking in the money. Now all of a sudden it's not happening. We're going to see the same thing happen with a lot of people that have been just milking this for everything that it's worth, not looking at the long term. And I think that's going to be an issue. People like you and I, it doesn't affect us at all.
No.
I mean, this is like, for us, this is still just hobby. We have dreams,
this
aspirations.
This is an extra couple bucks in my pocket per year.
Dreams and aspirations of doing this full time, but there is by no means is this paying my way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit back and say this is gonna keep me alive. I don't worry if I'm gonna go hungry or not if I don't do a stream.
No.
I sit back and wonder if I'm gonna be able to buy a Snickers bar a year from now when I get my check. I don't know. It like I said, it's a changing beast. It's not gonna be the same soon. It's gonna undergo a lot of change. I think a lot of people need to get ready for that. And I think a lot of really big YouTubers out there that have not diversified yet, they do not go into all this stuff with the Patreon or the shirts.
Yep.
Need to get on that because they're not going to make. I can tell you right now, you're not going to be able to make your money.
Actually, I think a lot of them are going to fall apart.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of channels that fall apart out there.
Yep.
It's sad, but don't be stupid about it.
I'm hearing some already talking about getting jobs and stuff. I'm like,
there comes a point in YouTube success. Not that I've known this, but just from what I've heard and what I've read, where you have to stop looking at it as something you do on the side and start looking at it as a business.
Yep.
I don't know where that point is, but there is a point where you have to sit down, you have to make a plan, and you have to almost sit down and make like a 5-year plan. Not just, well, I'm going to keep getting my next paycheck. You got to diversify. You got to sit back. You got to look at all this stuff. And there's a lot of people that didn't do that. Especially, I think a big problem with that was the Minecraft jump when Let's Plays took off and all these channels. I know back in the day, there were a lot of Minecraft Let's Players I followed that were just college students like me, and they just dropped out in the middle of their college to do this. I would not do that. Even if I, like when I started college, if I overnight gained 100,000 subscribers, you could not pay me to drop out of college for that. I want to walk out with a degree so I have something, even if this falls through, I want to be able to do. These are people that are going to be unemployed. They've never had skills. They've never had jobs. Some of them can be fortunate enough, like me, to have found media, to be able to do work in media. But the problem is a lot of this media is very new age. And you look back and you've got a failed YouTube channel on your resume, that's not going to look well.
No. You know what, though, is like, I think like some of that same mentality that to me kind of destroyed the Minecraft community is going to destroy a lot of these same people is because like there's a whole series of people that like I have to play vanilla Minecraft because if I don't do everything from scratch, well, people aren't going to take me as being a real artist and all this other bullshit that's always just driven. It's just driving me nuts. And I hate those comments like, why are you in creative mode? Because I like to make it easier for myself. I don't have to do the freaking grind. But again, if these people that listen to those same outliers that are like, well, I want you to do it this way. I don't want to see advertisements. I don't want you to take sponsored things. And a lot of them listened. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay. So
I stand back at the end of the day and I say, if I ever got to that point, somebody offered me an advertisement or something like that, people are going to sit there. I know there's going to be people that are going to say, oh, you're such a sellout. If this is my living, screw you.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but if I'm making a living off of this, I'm going to do what I need to do to make a living.
I would honestly say the same person that's going to call me a sellout, I'm going to ask them, are you willing to fork up $100 a month to help pay my rent?
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to do that, then I won't take this deal. If you're not, you're just going to sit there and complain and induce your ad blocker. Shut up. You don't have a voice on my channel. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like I'll listen to everybody. I appreciate excuse me. I appreciate my viewership and I appreciate everyone watching, but there comes a point, and like I said, this is something that's probably never going to impact me. But there comes a point where if it affects my income, if it affects my livelihood, I don't really care. It's just always been my personal spin on things. If I ever had got that far, and I've had that happen before. There was a while where I ran advertisements for a Minecraft server host, and people got mad over that. And it's like, oh well, I'm saving money here.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Or skip the 30 seconds in the beginning where I say, hey, this is Lada server hosting. Go check them out.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten used to it. I mean, I watch a lot of tech stuff, and a lot of them put advertisements at either the beginning or the end of their ads or their videos.
Oh, yeah.
And I
listen to podcasts almost daily, and there's 3 or 4 times throughout a podcast where they'll stop and say, all right, this podcast is brought to you by so and so.
We have to start working on that.
Yeah, we got to start reaching out.
We've got 50 people that are really interested in listening to your product. We need to start selling it here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, when I said that earlier about if you're not going to pay me to, I was saying about the comments. If you're going to make comments that are crass and you're not going to be part of the solution, you're going to be part of the problem, then there's no use doing that to anybody. Being nasty and mean is just Linus ad tips. Duke is right. People are yelling outside my window.
Oh, good. It's 11 o'clock at night. Go to bed, people.
See, apparently Duke watches the exact same tech shows I do because he knows. I know what he's talking about. But again,
a lot of those tech guys, they go out there and they're all sponsored.
I will say this: I have seen some advertisements made by some of those tech guys that are actually funny and witty. The ones on Jay's 2 Cents for Fractal Designs, I think that those are freaking hilarious.
Yeah, Jay's 2 Cents is very good in the way he advertises.
Yep. I think
there are fun ways to advertise like that too. And I one of the things I always appreciate is the people who they'll just do a video for like a game or product. They just tag ad somewhere on there.
Yeah.
It's, it's like review of the MXL 770 microphone, hashtag ad. If they sent me this microphone, I'd do that. Or they paid me to look at this microphone, something like that. I am perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with any kind of advertisement in or around a video because I know that they have to make a living. I respect this. This isn't just something that people do, for fun anymore. This is a major industry. This is a major industry of production.
And I think that's why we're running into this right now, is that the growing pains that this industry grew up and it blossomed and blew up so freaking fast that nobody really knew how to actually. There was no control. This was
a absolute split second industry.
Yeah,
5-10 years ago, this wasn't a thing.
No,
this was just people uploading stupid things, and now it is this massive industry. It is a billion-dollar industry, and nobody really knows what to do with it.
I mean, I'm playing video games, and I make money doing it.
Yeah.
And I already do podcasts, and people maybe, throw donations at me. Thanks, Nate, by the way.
That's a jerk. No. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It really is. And it's going to be interesting to see how this is kind of looked back on history-wise. What people think about this modern media revolution that's happened in the last few years.
It's kind of interesting for me to actually be in the thick of it instead of just being on the sidelines. Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of, the tech thing happened. I mean, I was kind of on the outskirts of it. But here I am, I'm
There's been a lot of things that have happened in the last few years so far as advancements and growth that have happened that I've been able to witness. There's been none that I've actively participated in like this.
No.
This is one of those things I'm going to be able to stand back and when my kid 20, 30 years from now brings home a paper and is like, let's talk about the YouTube revolution, I'm going to be like, I remember those days.
Listen, Shiny boy, shut up and listen. I'll tell you.
I'm going to go over here. I'm going to dust off a hard drive and say, watch all 1,002 of these because I'm going to quit tomorrow.
1,985 videos on my channel.
Good God. Yeah.
I look at it and I look at this and I see guys with 3 and 4 million subscribers that have 200. I'm like,
get on my
so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all over the place. No. It really is. It's fun though. It's neat. This kind of thing, it's fun to be a part of. It really is.
Dude, I've been just tickled forcing myself into I'm doing things differently this week than I was the week before and the week before that. It's like every week I'm trying something new. I've been pushing myself to go to 2K or 1440p at 60 frames a second on all my videos.
Yeah.
I remember I started this channel doing 720 at 30 and I thought this was looking beautiful.
That's cute. I started at 240. No, yeah, it's
I was playing Lego blocks and making
two whole frames. I had 2 frames when I started. No, yeah, I mean there's a lot of growth in quality, certainly, it's really scary to look back at where I started and where I am now, in terms of all the thousands of dollars I've poured into this.
I watched my first video again the other day, and it's
Let me tell you
awful
about first videos. And find that video where Kit recorded it and I recorded it again.
Dude, I have to say that, and this is definitely gaming related. Kit is cracking me up lately.
Kit is one of my favorite people.
Did you see his rant video today?
I didn't. I saw he put it up. I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it. I'll probably watch it after this.
He made a rant about rants.
I love Kit to death. He is. If you guys have not watched, if there's anybody out there in the audience who's not watched Kit, he is just a beautiful human being.
He is a genius.
He really is. He's the person that needs all the YouTube money.
Yeah. And he sent a message earlier. He just breached 250 subscribers.
Oh, congratulations. Happy day, Kit.
It's I remember when he had 220 last year, and I was still trying to get him. Trying to get him over 200 was
so hard to get him over 200. We worked for ages on that. I don't remember what I did.
I'm going to do Social Blade here. I'm going to go Social Blade Orchard on Kit.
Kit's growing. He's growing, and it's good. We need more. Kit is the person that we need to look for in the world. I don't have any creative videos to put up in the background here, which is fantastic. I'm trying to find different things. I've just been watching Rocket League for the last 20 minutes. I don't have anything particularly pertinent. Let's throw on some Skyrim. Skyrim's fun.
Twitch has screwed me over. Everyone thinking they're coming in for Cube World, and I'm doing a freaking podcast.
Good Lord, my bunch of people watching on Twitch now. Hello, everyone. I want to do a quick recap in case you are unaware. We're not I'm paying attention to the chat, but not really responding to it because we're just kind of trying to hold conversation. If something pertinent comes up that I feel like mentioning, or Rivet feels like mentioning, we will talk about it. But for the most part, we're just kind of sitting here BSing back and forth for the next probably hour or so. So I appreciate all you guys watching. You're all lovely. But anyways, yeah. So
I'm looking.
We've ranted about this for an hour now. Is there was something else?
I'm trying to see where. Yes, the new freaking thing from the government.
Oh yeah, the government. I actually wrote my senator a letter over this. I'm basically, for those who don't follow American politics, and not to get too political, although I think this is most
affects
people
everybody.
agree this is a terrible, terrible thing. The government has passed a bill. The United States government has passed a bill that effectively allows ISPs, internet service providers, to sell internet history to advertisers, and not just advertisers, other people. And it's not great. It is not a wonderful thing.
Okay, selling the advertising stuff, I can kind of get that part. I kind of get. Everyone's kind of getting used to the fact that their phones spy on them after all that other crap that came out in the last few months. You know that the government has access to all of our phones. Blah 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 blah. So whatever. That's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is the part that they don't have to notify us if there's a breach anymore. So now all these times when all of our information got stolen or hacked, they no longer have to notify us if that happens.
Yeah, it's
so
the government is a broken mess.
Yeah, I highly recommend using a VPN going forward. If you guys just want to have your privacy, just use VPN because your ISPs have nothing to do with it.
I am certainly looking at setting up a VPN now.
Yep.
It's worrying the way these things are going, and I don't often get angry enough over politics to write a letter to any of my political prudence people who are in politics. But this one got me going because our senator, actually both of our senators, Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham, voted for it, which I was disappointed in. So yeah, politics irritate me some days, and stuff like this. It's blatant, just for the money. You know, there's no other reason to do it. It violates privacy. It's not good.
It's pretty awful.
It is.
And I mean, I'm
terrible.
not sitting here. I'm not going to start talking about politics and one party versus the
no.
other.
I'm not going to sit here and preach to anyone about politics.
But when it comes to privacy and your safety and security online, there is at no point any reason why anybody should be able to sell my information without my prior knowledge.
Yeah. My internet, and this is one of those things, I don't have anything in here that I'm afraid of. I don't want people digging through my internet search history regardless. It's just stupid. It's about basic privacy. That's all it is.
I guess you didn't hear about the Pornhub April Fool's joke.
Oh, I saw that on Reddit. I love it.
I thought that was about.
I love that.
When you're saying I have nothing to worry about, and again, who people go to Pornhub. But yeah, if you guys don't know, they actually had a thing that when you're on their website, it's like, thank you very much for your support. We just sent a link to all of your social media about where you like to go to and all this other crap. And I'm like, oh, right on. Way to go. Because, April Fool's Day is the greatest day of the year for porn.
Yeah, I'm glad it's been very quiet for April Fools. But yeah, it's a mess. Everything, the whole internet's a mess. It's falling apart. We're all going to die soon.
I'm waving at some of the people that are saying hi to me because, the panda thing in Pornhub. What panda thing in Pornhub? Do you hear about that?
There's all kind of weird porn.
Okay, I was like, Duke Dog, you're 14. What do you know about this for?
He or she's I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just saying in general, as a person with a knowledge of the internet.
I mean, honestly, you're being an idiot if you don't think that technology blossoms because of porn.
Oh yeah, it's VR. There's already VR porn games.
Yep.
It's weird.
When they make some
It's
weird Japanese game with sex and porn, that's when you see the sales for the Sony VR platform blow up again.
Yeah, I've seen many weird porno game on Reddit already. It's interesting. VR. I think a big part of what's going to drive VR forward is stupid, but I think porno games are going to be a big driving force in VR in the coming years.
It certainly didn't hurt the adventure game genre. I mean, one of the first games I remember playing on.
Okay, I now know what the panda porn thing is.
Okay.
One of my mods, Patrick, sent me. He says, if you record porn in a panda suit, Pornhub donates $500 to a panda charity.
Fred, hold it. Would they make me pay $500 if I dress as in my kit suit?
Driving furry porn forward.
Duke Dog actually just put this up on my chat too because yeah, and you know what? I'm all for that. That is amazing. If you want to dress up as a furry and go and have like furry panda sex, and then let Pornhub pay $500 in order for you to do so, I'm all for that. Raise your
I don't know if this
freak
part's
flag
true.
high.
He followed that up by saying that they. I can't say this out loud with a straight face. They show the porn to the pandas to get them to mate. I can't say that with a straight face.
Oh man!
I'd like to know the research that went into figuring that out. If it's true, just some guy there with a laptop, like, okay, buddy.
Covering.
Get it up.
They cover the laptop screen in eucalyptus leaves to get them all excited.
Yeah.
Oh man! Now I want to put that one song, "Yumi Baby." Ain't, what the hell is that? Bad Touch, in the '90s.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about.
The guys are dressed up as they were dressed up as like monkey suits, running through Paris or something like that. It was so bad.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, good God. Yeah, there's porn websites do a lot of weird stuff. There was one that had a charity for like every 1,000 videos watched, they'd plant a tree. And they had to plant like 1 billion trees because of it. They do all kinds of weird stuff like that.
Hey, but you know what? If you're raising money, you're raising awareness to things. And, honestly, I mean, we're too repressed about our sexuality and everything as it is anyway. And again, I'm an adult saying this. If you're underage, listen to your parents. Don't listen to me. But when it comes to your sexuality, when it comes to anything like that, people are embarrassed to let people know that they watch porn. I had a friend come over last weekend. We were talking openly about, the porn channels that we go and visit and stuff. And I mentioned a couple that he was like, I'd never even heard of those before. And I'm like, yeah, it's all this stuff. And he's like, cool, I'll check it out. That's what you do as an adult. You don't have to, if you're open-minded and you're not afraid to talk about things, you can.
Yeah, I have a lot of really weird conversations about stuff like that. We have very in-depth conversations on weird stuff.
My generation was really messed up about this whole thing.
Yeah, yours was. I mean, not to paint blame on anyone, but there was a generation of people out there that were horrified of anything like that. I don't know why. The world is a weird place.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I was saying earlier, it's like one of the first video games that I played in college was the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. Which was a text adventure game where you could actually swear and they would swear back at you. They would respond back in kind. And then we had Leisure Suit Larry, where there was all the sexual innuendo.
Leisure Suit Larry. I remember that one. I played that one. It was great.
It was great, but I mean, it was.
Oh yeah.
It was silly, and I appreciated that kind of thing about it. And again,
I think Leisure Suit Larry had my favorite way of age checking. Where it just had a bunch of random, you had to enter a bunch of answers, like a bunch of random trivia that only people that were over a certain age would get.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. That was my favorite part about that.
Or the LucasArts one where it was all attached to a spinning wheel. It had a disc, it was 2 layers of there was cutouts on it, and then there was the printouts underneath it, so you'd have to spin it to line it up. And if you couldn't enter it in right, that was your privacy codes. And it's just... Anybody has those things now? Like if you have the old floppy disk, you couldn't play it.
No, they had a lot of fun ways of protecting games like that back then. They
Here's something interesting. Nate just pointed out something, and I think that this is an appropriate point that we need to address here.
Okay.
Pornhub is the #1 site, and they get advertised on a lot.
True. That is a very true point, right?
And
there.
I didn't think of that. And you're absolutely right, Nate. Because going back to this whole YouTube thing, I think what we need to have is tiers and levels.
The thing about that is, though, what are the advertisers for that? A lot of the advertisers for that are people that know what they're getting into. You're not going to see a family-friendly Walmart ad run before I some weird porno video. Panda sex or some weird stuff like that. You're not going to see, Timmy's going down to the Walmart to get him some pop.
I would chuckle endlessly if that happened. I would love that. But I mean, but not the fact that you're going to get those kind of advertisers and stuff again. But what you will have is you're going to have those companies that are going to reach out and say, you know what, I'm glad that all these advertisers are leaving YouTube. Here is I want in, because this is the media that I want to get in on.
All the product placements.
The Dollar Shave Club, I think, is one of the key points of a company that actually is doing this right.
Yeah, Dollar Shave Club's done a very good job of advertising.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job. They use the platform. They make funny little videos for themselves, and they also, they do an interesting service that people are really enjoying. So, oh man,
yeah, their Dollar Shave Club is one of the prime examples of people doing YouTube advertising right, which is great. Advertising in general, they've done a lot of stuff with podcasts. There's a lot of companies out there, like I said, they've done a very good job of keeping up with the times.
Yeah, but I think that there's those companies that are going to actually do it. And Duke Dog is very happy and proud of us that he brought up Panda Sex, and he's laughing his ass off and thinks that we're amazing. So,
no, it's completely derailed. It's wonderful.
This is why we do the podcast, and like Chris and I are both like kind of weird adults. So,
adults. That's funny.
I'm older than I look.
I've been working for the last week, not to get us too far off topic, but I should probably change my topic from weird porn since I'm about to talk about high school. I'll just change it to life. I have a little topic bar that I just kind of periodically update with what we're talking about in case someone jumps in and wonders what we're talking about.
I'm going to have to start implementing that.
It's very nice, but I struggle sometimes to come up with topics to put in there. Anyways, I've been working around a high school lately, and the number of times someone's looked at me and said, "You're the designated adult in this situation," is horrifying, because I am in no way prepared to be a designated adult over anyone.
How do you think I feel?
I mean, it's wonderful. They were like, "We need you to go down to the old wing of the high school. It's been abandoned for like 5 years. All the students are scared because they think it's haunted." I was in that hall when I went to high school, so it doesn't bother me. So of course I'm the one walking around down there. Everyone's in the room picking up props or whatever, and I start banging on the lockers, running down the hallway, going, "Oh my god!" And then turn around and shut the door behind me. I should not be considered an adult. I have fun horrifying people. It's a train wreck. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, I'm with you right there.
Figuring out how to be an adult is fun.
No, don't ever do it. No. Damn it, I keep sinking in my chair. I'm sitting on a frickin' bar stool and it's sliding. I need to strap myself. I need a seatbelt for my damn chair so I can just not slide down. Dude, I've got a video going on right now that hasn't been uploaded to the channel yet. I did golf with friends yesterday.
Oh God!
And they updated the graphics. So running that at 2K.
They updated the graphics.
Dude, it looks so different. It plays a lot better.
What graphics are there to update? It has one graphic.
The shadows.
I'm gonna have to check this out. Yeah, I haven't played in a while. I played a few weeks ago. I haven't played it since. I might have to check this out now. I had to pull up golf with your friends. I don't even know where my last golf with your friends stream was to throw up in the background. This is phenomenal. That game is a fantastic indie game, though.
I agree.
Is that video already up?
No, it's just on my channel right now. It's if you go to my stream, you can see it in the background.
Let me see. I'm trying to find the. I did a Subnautica stream. I did a golf with your friends stream. I was gonna throw it in the background, but I don't think that's gonna happen anymore.
You're not gonna play golf with your friends anymore?
Never again.
Every time we play it, I always hear like one of them is like, Armor rage quit after 9 holes. He just Alt F4. He said, "That's it, Alt F4," and he left. It's like, it's great.
Bless his heart. Armor is not a particularly salty dude. He gets pretty salty in that game.
Yeah. I've never seen him get so upset as he does when we play that game. And
that game, there are some people I know who are like super chill. They are, perfectly calm people. You show them golf with your friends, they are like, by the end of that, they scream, they yell, they rage quit. There are people I've never seen rage quit a game before. Rage quit golf with your friends. A stupid putt-putt game. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Windows, for telling me that I have potentially harmful software detected. Just to go back for a quick second, Duke Dog is saying, just so you know, Rivet, you're the last thing I'm going to watch before going to an extremely Catholic church in the morning. Not just a regular Catholic church, but an extremely Catholic church.
Extreme Catholic.
Catholic extreme. Jesus with an AK-47. Jesus. No.
Did you see they
now we need that
public server today for April Fools changed it to the Jeebs fan server? So everything is Jeebs related in there now. I love it. I don't know why we didn't do that to the default Elite server.
I had Jeebs show up on one of my live streams today.
Oh man, you had the
I was
Jeebs.
blessed by Jeebs on Beam.
Oh man,
I haven't had anybody on Beam in like 3 weeks. All of a sudden, Jeebs is there watching me play Rage. It's like, this game looks like fun. I'm like, Jeebs!
That's great. He has become such a meme, and I love it. It's like every time we talk to him.
He's out-memeing Kit.
So how much does your family know about the fact that you basically have a cult of people?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's great.
Duke's headphones are broken. Now we have to do the show in sign language.
West Side.
We're talking about tentacle porn now. Kid, does this turn you on?
Now I've got another restricted video. They hit me again. I've got another one down for no more monetization because it's too inappropriate. It was a Trouble in Terrorist Town video from like 4 years ago.
Trouble in Terrorist Town. Gee, I wonder what could be the reason for that one.
I don't know. It was episode 3, so they missed a couple before that. I don't even remember what it was. Hold on, let me see if I can find the video. Yeah, it was YouTube's stupid.
Yeah, well, you know what though? You know, they're reacting and they're going to react, and it's going to suck for a lot of people.
You know, as a company, you know, I kind of get why they're doing a lot of this. You know, they present valid reasons, but those valid reasons can also be easily countered. That's the problem.
Yep.
You know, as a company, it's a good idea to cover yourself like they are, but video hasn't improved. Yeah, episode 2, Holy Vending Machine, was the name of the episode.
Did you hear about the NVIDIA April Fool's joke?
Oh, the one where they came out and said they're all the same cards, they're just different.
No, the
colors.
G-Assist. It was a thumbnail, as a USB thumb drive that looks like 1080 that you plug into your computer.
Oh yeah,
and it'll take care of bosses and everything. Oh, I have no idea, but they have a whole video and whole thing attached to it about how it's going to like take on. You don't have to even game; you can just sit there and watch. It takes care of everything for you. Oh, that was pretty
That's
funny.
great.
Did you see the Destiny 2 trailer?
I did. That's why I talked about Destiny.
I think that the most important thing I got out of that is that Nathan Fillion is still one of the funniest fucking guys in the planet.
Somebody at Bungie has a love affair with that man because he has been in so much stuff they've done, and I love it. I love Nathan Fillion. He's a wonderful.
I want
wonderful
Firefly to come back, man. Like,
oh, I do too. Firefly is fantastic. Hey, I'm redlining and like kilobits.
And
come back. There we go.
To top it off, Joss Whedon is talking about doing a freaking Batgirl movie instead of doing Firefly.
He's still back to Firefly. Just saying, he could make the money there. I don't know why they don't. I think it also suffers from the problem of what I've called Half-Life 3 syndrome, where it's so hyped up at this point it would never be as good, you know, as people think it's going to be, and it would just end up getting trashed in the ratings.
What he needs to do is very simple: is you hire Bruce Campbell and you take Briscoe County Jr., throw him into the same Far Cry universe, and then you've got Deadites and Nathan Fillion and Bruce Campbell together. Perfect, done.
I'll watch anything with Bruce Campbell in it.
Hell yeah! Ash vs. Evil Dead is one of the best shows on TV, hands down.
I still need to. They renewed it, didn't they? And they're coming back for another season.
Oh yeah.
I was talking with a friend of mine about that the other day. We're both really excited about that. I love some Evil Dead,
dude. His cast of characters, bringing back Xena. I mean, I can't remember what her name is. The actress. All I remember is like I really appreciated her singing the national anthem once. Speaking of,
oh man,
thanks for the memories.
It's a good Bruce Campbell's great. I love everything he's been in. He's a good actor. So yeah, I gotta
like
go back
him.
and see Ash versus Evil Dead again. I want to go back and watch the movies again. We were talking about
Oh,
that
yeah.
the other day. We started talking about because the new trailer for It came out. We were just talking about horror stuff. And Ash versus Evil Dead is one of the goofiest horror things. It's one of those things I almost don't want to consider horror.
Did you know I had to explain to her what We All Float Down Here was about?
Really?
He didn't get the reference. He goes, I don't get what this is all about. I'm like, have you never seen It? And then when I told him that it was Tim Curry, the original one, he goes, what? I'm like, yeah.
Tim Curry is just one goofy looking dude, and I appreciate it so much.
Okay, now in my defense, Duke Dog, I know her as Xena. I didn't know what... Lucy Lawless, is that it?
Lucy Lawless? Yeah, that sounds right.
Because I know it was almost a porn name. It wasn't Loveless, so it's Lawless.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so there! Suck that egg! I didn't even Google search that one. I pull it out of my ass every now and again, but... Blizzard also, I don't know if you've heard this, has now given away a free version of StarCraft.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was talking about that with somebody on one of my streams this week, and I've never really been into StarCraft, but I'd be willing to give it a shot. That's kind of my policy whenever people suggest games. You know, I'll try anything once, which is why I
Just
played
with games, huh?
Yeah, just with games.
Yep.
$20 is $20. I'm just saying.
I hear it's good for the skin.
Posting around those pictures of drag earlier this week.
Oh, dude, derailing Jeeves was great.
That was horrible. I love it. Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to talk about myself.
There was a picture of Jeeves that got posted from the 90s in the Leech No private chat, and the Rivet followed it up with a wonderful follow-up, which was a picture of him in drag.
Yep. I have done drag, my friends.
Does not surprise me.
No.
I respect it.
No, I mean, I was DJing at a gay bar. You know, we ran straight night. We were, helping promote, doing stuff, and trying to raise money for them. And it was a fun idea, fun little concept. And I got a whole bunch of other DJs involved. So I got dressed up. I actually got a friend of mine who is like a professional dancer. She goes and dances at nightclubs and stuff. And she did my makeup for me. Like, she came over to my house and I sat for 2 hours while she did my makeup. So I'm damn proud of it.
The makeup was pretty good on that.
Dude, I look like Divine. It was that good. I mean, like...
it was
She made my eyes into butterflies. It was gorgeous. I walked into that room and people stopped. I even shaved to do that. Like, that's the last time I shaved my face was to be in drag, and that was like 7 years ago now.
Good night. It doesn't even surprise me is the thing. But
It shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, I'm a very carefree and very casual person.
Yeah.
I don't have modesty. I am fairly antisocial, but I don't have that modesty filter where I spent I'm Scottish heritage. I've run around in a kilt. The wind blows the wrong way. Notice that I am regimental. So whatever.
Going commando in the kilt. Yeah, it's man.
And there are a lot of very funny pictures of people in front of the Queen in their kilts.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
It's
don't doubt that
too
at all.
much fun. Trying to think. Secret World. Do you ever play that?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
That's another game by Funcom. The guys that are behind Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
The one that I've been playing a lot of. They just announced that they are going to be launching this spring revamp to Secret Worlds, and it's all going to be free to play.
Ooh. So what's the deal with this game? What is it?
It's a massive multiplayer online game. Really weird, freaky concepts. It's very.
Is that the one that had? I see the logo in my mind now. I can't really describe it because, truth be told, I didn't look into it. But I recognize the logo and what you're talking about.
It's like a lady in like a red leather jacket.
Yeah, it was like a lady in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Is it something to do with like vampires or something? I want to say
there's a whole bunch of like sub stories. Each month has they've had other storylines that come out that you get to play in. It's been subscription based, and there's like non-subscription based, and it's really fun. It's got a really wonky combat system, but it's still kind of fun. I've had it for now almost a year, 9 months maybe. I don't play it as regularly as I wanted to, but it's fun. but they're bringing it out. They're revamping the entire game. They're redoing all of the combat systems and everything. It's going to be called Secret World Legends.
Cool.
And then
I may have to give it a shot then.
yeah, they launched the beta for it. I'm actually just going to submit myself to it right now.
Yeah, I threw in for the beta for Quake.
We did that last
Forward
week.
to saying that. Yeah, I know we talked about that last week, but I hadn't signed up for it then. I've got that in, so hopefully I get a hold of that, do some streaming in that. But yeah, I'll throw in for the beta for this too, because it looks like I didn't look into it a lot. All these Steam MMOs always kind of amalgamate to one blob for me. I like MMOs, but there hasn't really been one I've been into in a long time.
The thing I like about Secret Worlds is it's mature. It's not like it takes some very interesting and weird topics. Like it does stuff with horror and fantasy and sci-fi kind of stuff that nobody else does. So I dig it. Like it's not your typical vanilla, you know, every MMO is something based on, you know, a Tolkien kind of concept. So
yeah,
this does not.
I mean, you know, some have done very good. A lot of them, like I said, just kind of amalgamated into one blob, which is fine. There's been some ones out there that I've heard are pretty different. I'd like to see MMOs, and this is kind of almost what Destiny tried to do in the Division, was this kind of weird MMO subgenre of sci-fi. And the problem with these is sci-fi and just off in general MMOs, they don't tend to do as well.
The thing is like Destiny reminded me a lot of Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, that's actually a very good way of putting it.
Like there was a hub area, and then you went on these little quests, but you went to the same area over and over again. Like I saw the same freaking tree in Phantasy Star Online so many times to level up, and now I'm seeing the exact same place in Russia too many times. I'm like, I want to die. But again, I'm like, it's still fun. Like I wish I had the option to keep Peter Dinklage in, but they can't.
Yeah, a lot of people bagged on the fact that it's a very repetitive game, and you know, like I said, I didn't play it a lot. I played the beta. That's the most experience I have with the game, and from what I could tell, it was very repetitive. That's the kind of stuff doesn't really bother me. It's kind of weirdo that I am. After a while, it gets boring, but I think I have a higher tolerance for it than a lot of people do.
Yeah, Destiny is my little game that I throw on my Xbox and I just goof off and I play it. I mean, and I don't team up with anybody. Like Duke Dog's saying that if I plan on getting Destiny, I should let him be in my fire team. I may get Destiny 2. I mean, but if I do it, it's going to be on PC. I will skip the console generation. I'll use this as a segue because something that I've been really excited about just devastated me this week.
Go on.
They updated Xbox One.
Oh.
Now you can stream directly from the Xbox One to Beam.
Right, I heard about that.
No software, no nothing. Yep.
That's a good way of putting it. So I take it it is not all it was cracked up to be. It's not the secret miracle streaming service that it was supposed to be.
This is nothing on Beam. I'm not going to like rag on them. I think that we had too many people that were interested in doing it, that the servers are taking a nasty little hit. T-Dubs is here. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
I'm showing you playing golf there, T-Dubs. I think they took a nasty hit on the server side of things. I went to do it the first night that I knew about it, which was Friday? No, Thursday. Thursday or Friday. Went to log in to try to stream it, set up everything, and then it said that there was a problem connecting to the server. There's a problem connecting to the server, I'm like, okay, fine. Got up the next morning, connected, went and changed the settings, changed everything up, turn on the microphone, go to stream.
Something tells me that should have been a thing that they slowly rolled out.
They did have it slowly rolled out, there was a beta for it that people were in on. There's a beta release that people were in on, so they like it. Apparently it's working well. God, T-Dubs is drunk and eating pound cake.
Oh, good. Is he talking to the German girl again?
He's on Twitch. Of course he's talking to the German girl. He's probably got her on Snapchat, and she's probably eating pound cake and telling him where to shove his pound cake. But it worked. It was laggy. It was buggy, and not a fault of Xbox.
It's an Xbox product.
Yeah, and not the fault of Xbox, but my audio sucks because the piece of shit headset that I bought for it blows. And I will say that I am upset with Xbox because I can't just plug any microphone into it. It has to be done through the controller, and that kind of blows.
That's stupid. Yeah, streaming from a console is a cool concept. So is just about everything else for modern consoles.
But the thing is,
basically, that could be the entire tagline for the last generation of consoles. Yeah, it's a cool concept. It's not going to work in reality.
No.
Because nothing they tried to do worked out.
No. Unless you put up with it and you just don't really care, like War does. He does.
Yeah, there's some people. Yeah, I agree. There's people that do put up with it and don't have a problem with it. That's fine. But I like my stuff to work.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have Restream attach themselves to one of those services. Then I would be all for it.
Oh yeah.
Banana drove his car home because she fell asleep at where they went to.
Oh, that's good.
The host gave her a pillow and a blanket. We did drunk gaming last night, so.
Yeah, did you finally get up on that?
We did.
That's
actually,
good. It's been like a month.
It's been a long time, yeah. So I ended up. It was weird. Again, still no Kit. Kit's MIA. Kit.
He was. I don't know. I saw him the other day. He was recording with Alichino some stuff.
Probably another prank for you.
Yeah, he tried so hard to make that prank work, but
it didn't.
Spawned inside my base. When I logged out, I spawned inside my base like a day before he put that video up, and I was just like, "Why is this wall here? This wall doesn't need to be. Who put this here?" And I just kind of went on about my business, and then I saw that video, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this makes sense." That was a nice try, Kit. I haven't been on since, so he could have done something horrible to my base.
The wither's not there?
No, there was never a wither.
He put one in the video.
No, I think he got a world download from Rust or something like that, because my base is perfectly fine. I'll put that video up on here, though. I love the thumbnail for Kit's Rants.
Yeah,
I need to sit down with the video.
I'm now getting asked if maybe there'll be a 3-person podcast one day. We will have guests eventually.
No, we don't believe in people.
We may have.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah, we got to get our bearings straight and how we're.
We can barely do 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that we're doing this is when we did the podcast, and even I talked to Armor about it, and he agreed with me 100%, is that when we did the podcast, you and I did all the talking, and everybody else just sat there, and they were there for color commentary. That was it. It was like you and I ruled the roost, and we couldn't shut up. 2 alpha males pissing in the same snowbank.
Yeah, we spent that was a big problem with the podcast last year. There was just not a lot of people interested in doing it.
No, that was the other part. I think you and I are the only ones that actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like sitting here and talking. So
I do too. Where are we at? We're at what, hour and 47 minutes. And
almost 2 hours.
Midnight. I want to call it here, buddy.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to call it. I'm getting tired. I've had a long day, and
I got a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to work. So it's been fun, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and hope you guys tune in. As always, be sure to follow not only myself, but Rivet on all of our respective platforms. Keep up to date. And also follow Kit. His video I have in the background right now.
Nate said he will join us anytime because he knows how to butt in.
There we go.
He's larger than life. Personality I'm talking about. No fat joke here. I actually like Nate. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, Nate's been pretty cool. So
even if he does complain about the food he wants to eat every morning, at least no chat. I didn't get enough gravy from my Wendy's burger. I didn't know they had it. Apparently, only for you.
only in Oklahoma.
Anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway, thanks,
guys. Thanks so much for watching.
Yep, it's been another episode of Crusty Salt.
Tune in next week, hopefully.
See y'all later.
Dude.